right, Cigar Colonel back for another review, number 6, and we're doing the My Father, the Judge. And joining us is a guest reviewer who is a judge, Judge Rich D'Amore.
Yay!
Nice. Along with Rich is Millennial Cigar Guy and the Cigar Snob, the Colonel, and the Judge. We're all four going to review this cigar, which was given a #1 rating by Cigar Aficionado last year. So we're going to see how it passed our rating test. It's going to have a tough road to hoe because we had 100 rating for the first time ever last week with our Carita.
There you go.
I'm tired of being a fool.
Yep.
I really like the shape of this cigar.
Good box press.
Good, yeah, and what's unique about it is it's also, a box press, which I love, but kind of ovalish.
Yeah, it's not. It comes out to a rounded corner instead of the regular straight X.
Yeah. So let's remove our gold band, and
which I already have.
Which I hate. No offense, I hate it. I hate doing
really
this.
Nice.
It looks nice, but man, it's a pain in the ass because you don't want to screw your cigar up.
Right.
And I know it's there so the footer doesn't get all screwed up.
And sometimes you just got, like you got to wiggle it off one side then the other side.
It takes a little time just because you can't go.
And it is nice banding. There's some nice look there, but again, too much band.
Yeah, exactly. Half the cigar's band.
Yeah.
Right. Or a cigar this size, either get the ratio down a little bit or make it bigger.
Marketing standpoint, it's a nice look in the box with the gold thing and the bands and the name. It's a nice look. It's attractive. But now when I'm ready to just get down into it, I'm like, I'm already a little pissed that I have to get through all this shit. Huh? Pardon my French. Hey, how do you say that in France? Nerd?
No. Well, yes, that is that. That would be nailed. Would be the French term for.
Some of you may remember the Judge was on our Honduran trip with Cigar Snob and myself. So we were making some fun of his Frenchness because he is French Canadian through and through.
Correct.
Fairly fluent in the French.
A
lot more than me.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, here's our Frenchman.
Que vous allez bien ce soir et on s'amuse très bien ici.
Et c'est vrai?
Oui.
Oui?
Oui, bien sûr.
Unfortunately, we don't get to use our French very often in Evansville, Indiana.
Yeah, that's true. You might get shot.
Fortunately, yes. Fortunately.
Now, with my thought cap on, we're back to Barnyard for me, right off the top here.
I'm definitely getting Barnyard, and I'm also getting a hint of molasses.
Like a black molasses.
Yeah, that's a little bit of sweetness that's coming through on the Barnyard.
Now I'm getting a taste that reminds me of the aroma of pipe tobacco. For some reason.
Okay.
It's kind of woodsy a little bit. Maybe in English or so, but it took me a couple of puffs here, or quotation marks to get it, but I can agree with that statement. Can't quite put the tobacco, but kind of woodsy a little bit.
Yeah. I could see the English tobacco reference. I can
really
taste that.
A pipe tobacco taste.
Lo and behold, that's all that's in here.
Well, again, in reviewing how this is made, it's made in Nicaragua by the Garcia family. It's an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper. And what I didn't realize till I actually got into studying this a little bit more is the binder is 2 different tobaccos, both Nicaraguan, a Corojo and a Carrillo wrapper. And the Carrillo, it gives it a lot of different flavors and strength. Usually that's a strong tobacco. And the fillers, they just said Nicaraguan, so I'm not sure exactly, which Nicaraguan, which area, or which part of the plant. Torchy time. Look at this nice, cool thing. A vector lighter. It's called the Duplo. It has soft flame for pipe, and you pull down the soft flame part, and you got one flame torch.
Very nice.
He's dusting that.
It's nice if you smoke both, which I know millennial cigar guys starting to do pipes a lot. I started with pipes before I got into cigars. I haven't been smoking a pipe in a while. But I liked how this functionality of this was.
My main reason for
But
it.
normally I would have lit this cigar with at least a double or not, if not a triple torch.
Single torch is gonna take a minute, especially with a 60 ring gauge. Is that right?
It's 54, I think.
54. Okay. Yeah, but either way, that's gonna take a minute to get the full effect on it.
Yeah, it is 60 ring gauge. You are correct, millennial cigar guy.
Get my homework.
He read the paper. That's because he's in college. We just make it up. Judge, you're pretty good at making up decisions, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Not all he does.
We're fortunate that the judge has a nice day off. It's election day here in Indiana.
It is primary day.
Primary day, May 8th, and I exercise, as I like to say, my right to bitch. Because if you don't vote, you don't have a right to complain. That's my theory. That's the way I was brought up. So let's get into the what we're getting here right off the top. Anybody want to chime in first?
So, like you said, it's one of those, just the exception to the rule there, and the rule that we're talking about. Generally, when you look at a cigar, the lighter the wrapper, the milder it's going to be, and vice versa. So the darker the wrapper is going to be a lot stronger. This appears to be a bit more of a medium, but however, it's going to be a little bit stronger than what you think whenever you go pick it up. But other than that, it's got a really good flavor on it. Pretty good stick so far, for the half inch I'm in.
Like the last cigar that we had, off the top in a retro hell, I'm getting heat again. Heat and a lot of pepper. Maybe it's just my nose.
Okay, well, what I'm picking up right now in this cigar, number one, of the cigars we reviewed so far, this is the tightest straw.
Yeah.
Definitely the tightest straw, mine is anyway, that we've had.
Too tight?
Yeah, it's slightly too tight. Not
it's not
going to ruin the cigar, but it is
Okay.
a little slightly too tight in my
It
opinion.
can never be too tight.
I'm picking up, like you said, I'm still getting a little bit of barnyard from the cold draw. Lots of cedar.
Yes.
Lots of cedar in
That's
it.
what
I'm
I'm
still getting a little bit of background of the molasses.
Yeah.
This is straight up red pepper.
Yeah, it's a lot of red pepper.
Yeah, this
I
is
would
red pepper. This
Totally agree with you on
Yes.
that. Yeah. I get a little bit of a sour post taste on this.
I agree.
And I don't. Again, for me, it's not a bad thing. It's just it's a subtle change.
Right.
After it rests on my tongue for a little bit.
See, I prefer more of a sweet taste. That's why I'm a big Maduro fan. You get the sweetness, like drinking beer. I won't drink any fruity beer or any sours,
Right.
anything like that.
Red
But
Zappa
I'm
Ale?
getting no, thank you. But I am getting a little bit, but nothing that takes away from the cigar in my taste.
No.
But I am picking that up.
Yeah, and that's something that. Now I say that I've remembered that's one of the things I do like about this one. I guess if I was to draw an analogy, like what you said, this is be like an IPA cigar,
Okay.
and
Heavy cigar.
yeah,
I would
See,
I would kind of agree with that.
See,
Yeah.
I'm not getting heavy at all. I'm getting. Now I heard you say, David, Colonel, excuse me, that.
Mind your manners, boy.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me.
I will have your plantation hat removed, sir.
Had a good lens.
Cedarish, but not a smoky, not like a Kentucky Fire Cure, but a nice wood taste. Mine draws extremely well. You see, I just barely cut the top cap. Mine is drawing superbly. I love the weight in my hand. This is a heavy cigar,
This is definitely
Yeah.
a heavy cigar.
and I like a heavy cigar.
It balances in your hand very
Balances
well.
well. It doesn't burn real fast, and I'm impressed thus far.
Yeah. Ash is nice and white on mine. Have a slight uneven burn, but
So do
nothing
I.
like huge.
Nothing that needs to be corrected.
No.
No.
I think mine was just from how I lit it, because I was
Yeah,
trying
me
to pass
too.
on my lighter real
I had
quick.
that little single Duplo
Yeah.
lighter.
And like we said last time, there's a lot of variables that can
Yeah.
go into why a cigar is acting the way it is, and that's probably it for both of us. Possibly.
All right, well, we're going to take a break, so stay tuned. All right, we're back. About another inch or so into the cigar, and again, it's looking really nice. The burn is getting a lot more even for me. Nice white ash. Taste has been still pretty consistent for me. Brian, what do you think? Cigar Snob?
I'm still having a little bit of the draw issue, and I think with drawing a little harder on it, I'm still getting the flavor. I'm getting a lot of cedar. I'm getting molasses type of taste that's coming through occasionally.
But not sweet.
Not barely,
molasses is sweet.
just
Because
barely.
I'm not getting any sweetness at all.
Yeah, I'm just barely, but it's barely a hint of sweetness, kind of like molasses or something like that. But to me, it's turning harsh now. It's
Turning what? Harsh?
Harsh.
I think that's probably your draw.
It probably is.
Probably your draw issue.
Little cigar guy?
I'd like to comment on the construction first. Another one of those very solid ash, like last week. Moving around, it's not coming anywhere, or it's not leaving it. I'd say I come in the kind of the middle here on the draw. I wouldn't say it's hard, but you got to put a little bit of effort into it, which kind of takes away from, I guess, the enjoyment on it. You know, if you don't have to think about it and you can focus on other aspects of the cigar, you can kind of get more in depth on those. Whereas if you have to focus on the draw, you're kind of thinking about doing that, and then also trying to, it's like, okay, what are the flavors in it? How does it taste? Everything after that. But on the bright side, I've been working on the retrohale a little bit. I can kind of get this a little bit because with the harder draw, it's not getting near as much in my mouth.
Right.
So there's not as much to try to puff out my nose. So I'm getting a little bit on the retrohale here. It still burns, but it's burning.
Still getting that red pepper on the retrohale. Very, very spicy.
Yeah, it's very spicy on the retrohale. Now we have renamed our guest, the judge, he's requested Sergeant Cigar, and so you will now hence forever be known as Sergeant Cigar if you ever join us again.
Thank you.
And
Probably won't, but that's okay.
well, that's yet to be seen.
That's okay.
A free cigar is a free cigar.
Yeah, Sergeant Cigar. Share with us the Cigar story. I did not know this, and I think it's very interesting. We were talking about this on the break.
Cigar, S-E-G-A-R, is the antiquated spelling for cigar. Back in the 1800s, particularly if you watch old Civil War footage of towns, they'll say cigars for sale, S-E-G-A-R. And it's antiquated, it's not used. If you look it up, it probably won't even be in your dictionary, but it is the old-fashioned, what I call old-fashioned name for a cigar.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And now it makes sense that, you always see the stereotypical Southern or a hick person going about, I want my cigar.
Cigar.
Well, that's probably why they were saying it that way.
Probably so.
Yeah. Now so
Take off from that. And but regarding this cigar, I got to tell you guys, mine is burning. I've not been saving my ash, but look how nicely my burn is.
Probably the best out of them.
The draw is superb.
you're a lot further down than we are.
My draw is just,
And
it is easy. The weight is still there with my cigar. I still like the weight of it. Taste-wise, I still find it to be mild. I'm getting the wood, but I would say almost a balsa type of wood, a very light, woody taste to mine. Not so much a cedar, but as more as a balsa wood, I would say. I'm very impressed. Very light on the tongue, no harshness. I'm not getting the pepper. I'm not getting any sweetness, which I love. I don't like sweet cigars. and I'm impressed.
I think again, the pepper is more of the retro hill. That's where
Yeah,
that's where
which I don't do.
and you don't do that.
Yeah, I
So
don't do
I think that's definitely there when you retro hill it.
I think that says something about the cigar, maybe a little inconsistency, because what Cigar over here described, I'm getting almost the opposite. I am getting that woodsy taste, but it's more of like a cedar
I'm
taste.
definitely getting the cedar in mine.
Yeah, but you know, I have the harshness, and you're saying a mild cigar. I would put mine now on the upper end of medium.
Yeah, I would say this is a mild, for me, a mild cigar. And normally I smoke medium cigars, and I would put this in the low end of, the very low end of medium.
Wow.
Okay, that's interesting because I would definitely put mine in the same place that Brian is.
Upper medium.
Upper medium is what I would call it. But I think you're right on the money as far as, I think it may be how it's rolled and pressed, and so it might be more of a quality issue with the filler. Maybe there's some variations when they're rolling it, and then when you get the box press in there and they start to meld together, you know, it could be that there's some differences there in draw,
And,
for sure,
right, like with what
but
you
also
said,
maybe
too,
in flavor.
on the paper handout you gave us for the filler, it just says Nicaragua. It doesn't specify where.
It could be different ones, yeah.
So we don't honestly know, but that's a possibility at least that can attribute to having different flavors.
But what I find really interesting is Sergeant Cigar. His is almost down to the last band, and you really have not been what I would consider smoking it heavily. I mean, no, not even different than we have. So his is definitely burning faster.
He probably has a little bit looser draw.
And like he says, he has an effortless draw, so that must be why. Now, I'm carrying a large ash today because I did not want to have the nickname Flicka. Or you said my new rap name, Flicka. So I'm going to see how far I can go before I get the drop sound effect on mine. Sergeant Cigar has removed all his bands. He's got them in nice order, as you can see here. Must be why you're a judge.
Very orderly.
Order in the review. Order in the review.
A little OCD, probably.
A little.
Yeah, a lot of OCD.
Yes. You, sir. I'm not one to talk to. I'm just as bad. So I will not make fun of you. No, I'll just concur that you are correct.
I noticed that of the three of us that have the long ash, mine's also a darker ash.
Yeah, mine's very white.
Yours is
Yeah.
snow white, and
Yeah.
yours is very white too. I've got a,
I'd say mine's
Yeah.
middle ground between.
and you
those
can
two.
see where a few veins have went through my ash.
Right. And I don't have any. So yeah. I'm going to make an estimated educational guess that the fillers are different.
Something's different.
Something's different inside the
They
cigar.
might not be super different. Like I mean, they probably get them from roughly the same area.
A
but
tiny little tweak can
Yeah.
make a big difference in a cigar.
Now in my retro hill, I'm getting, besides the spice, the pepper note, and a lot of cedar now coming in the retro hill, where I didn't really get a lot of cedar originally in the retro hill.
Right. The cedar is definitely building in this cigar.
Yeah.
I'll add on to it a little bit. I don't know about you guys. My draw is opening up a lot. I just noticed it here. My draw is opening up a lot on this one. I'll have to.
Mine is getting better now.
Yeah.
It's getting close to where it, I would say, should be.
That's just. I'm sure as you smoke it, it loosens it up a little bit to where you want it to be.
Well, and I'm with Sergeant Cigar that my draw has been effortless the whole time on mine. It doesn't seem like it's burning as fast as yours, but my draw is, I've not had to work on it, put it that way. All right, well, we're going to get a little further down and come back and give our final thoughts and look at some ratings on this #1 cigar from 2017 by Cigar Aficionado. We're going to see if it can be #1 here. I don't think it's going to make it. All right, we're back. I still got an ash. It's the only ash I got. What do you guys think as we wrap it up? Let's give it our final thoughts. Let's go with Cigar Snob. We always go with him first.
In the beginning, I had problems with the draw. The draws now has opened up. It's more like the way I would expect it to be. Now I'm starting to get the flavors through there. That's not quite so harsh. Still, from beginning to this point right here, definitely cedar. In the beginning, I had a little bit of that kind of sweet molasses taste. And then other than that, that's about all I can really say. I not much change in the cigar. Smoking pretty much from beginning to end with the same flavors.
Okay.
For me, I think overall this is a pretty good cigar. I wouldn't say I'm as experienced as Brian, but I am getting a woodsy taste. I don't know if I can call that cedar or not. I just haven't gotten that far in the business yet. Like I said earlier,
Buy a humidor.
gotta have cigars to fill that one first.
You know where you can get them.
Up my discount, we'll talk. But no, my only kind of complaint, other than the draw on it, would be the burn isn't particularly even. Could be fixed with a touch up. Might not need it, but it's just been a little uneven throughout the whole thing. So it kind of just bugging me a little bit. Other than that, though, really good cigar. Like Ryan said, the draw opened up. Pretty good woodsy flavor to it. Very good construction. My ash fell off camera, but I had probably about half the cigar in ash, and it was hanging on for a little bit. So that's testament to the construction on it. But other than that, so I'd say overall pretty good cigar.
Sergeant Cigar.
Mine has changed substantially. It has become more stout, as I'm down to, as you can see, about 1.5 inches, and definitely some pepperiness. The wood, the light wood taste is still there, but with a peppery taste and a little bit of, I would say, clovish taste to it. And,
I'm getting that.
Yeah, I'm getting a little clove taste, and the burn is superb. The burn has been superb. The construction has been great. The draw has been right on, and I'm going to give this one high marks.
There we go. Now I would agree with everybody around the horn to some degree. I would say initially this started out a little harsh, but then quickly, ramped down to just a nice, what I would call full medium body for me all the way through. Definitely got cedar all the way through, especially in the retrohale. That started to come through on the retrohale about midway. My construction has been phenomenal. My burn, my draw, exceptional. This ash is holding really well. Cigar Snob, you said you could see some veins in your ash as it was going down, and in this particular cigar that I'm smoking, no appearance of that at all. The peppery note definitely there in the retrohale. I really like this cigar. Interesting about the clove, because maybe that's where I was trying to say a sour note. Maybe that's what it is.
I've just started picking up the clove. And that's probably about the point you probably started picking yours up too. You're a little ahead of me. And now I am getting a little bit of clove.
Well, I think we're going to finish up and rate this, and we want to say thank you to Sergeant Cigar, aka The Judge, for sitting in on The Judge Review.
Thank you, appreciate it.
It's been an honor to have you.
It's been an honor, Your Honor.
Bears whack it,
Hey,
King.
and to quote another famous quote about a judge in the movie, nice hat, Judge. Ciao.
Stay interesting, my friends.